Okay, so, like, imagine this. You're totally ready to dive headfirst into DeFi, right? Like, super excited about all these new financial tools, but then, bam, it hits you. How do you know the data these apps use? How do you know it's legit, unbiased? It's like playing financial roulette with a blindfold on, you know?
Yeah, and that is exactly the problem that the Pyth network is designed to solve. It's like they're building, I don't know, a truth serum, but for financial data, specifically for DeFi.
And that is exactly why we are diving deep, deep, deep into their white paper today.
Okay.
We're talking about first-party financial oracles, cross-chain architecture. It's intense, but don't worry, we're going to break it all down.
What I think is so fascinating about Pyth is that they're cutting out the middleman. They're going straight to the source.
Instead of relying on, like,
What?
that outdated info, potentially manipulated data.
Exactly. Pyth is creating this network of publishers. Think. Big-time players, trading firms, exchanges. They provide the financial data directly.
So it's like getting the news straight from, like, the horse's mouth.
Exactly. No middleman, no potential for bias, no misinformation. And that is absolutely crucial in the world of DeFi where things move so fast.
Okay, I'm starting to see why this is such a big deal, but hold on. You have all these different sources feeding data into the Pyth network, right? How do they make sure it's accuracy? Couldn't, like, a few bad actors mess up the whole system?
That's where it gets really interesting. They've designed this, well, ingenious system.
To ensure data accuracy.
Exactly. Think of it like a weighted average.
Yeah.
But instead of just numbers, it factors in each publisher's track record, their reputation, even how confident they are in their data.
So it's not just about the numbers themselves, but, like, who's saying them and how much they're willing to, bet on their accuracy. That's pretty clever. But how does this actually work in the real world? What can you actually do with this? What do we call it? A decentralized financial oracle.
The possibilities, I think, are pretty much endless. Imagine, like any financial application, the trading platforms you use, those lending protocols that DeFi is built on, they can all access this real-time, accurate, and reliable data without having to go through those middlemen.
Okay, so less Wall Street, more Main Street.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that. Give me some concrete examples. What could this look like for, the average person?
Let's say you're using a DeFi lending platform.
Right.
These platforms, they rely on price feeds to determine things like collateralization ratios, right?
Yeah.
With Pyth, those price feeds could be more accurate, way more resistant to manipulation.
So a smoother, fairer experience.
Exactly.
That means less risk of getting liquidated just because of a bad price feed.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a win. What else?
Think about things like prediction markets. These platforms, they need accurate data, right, to function properly. Pyth could make them even more reliable, which is huge. It opens up a ton of possibilities for decentralized forecasting decision-making.
It's like that old saying, knowledge is power, right?
Yes.
And Pyth is putting the power back in the hands of, the people.
Yeah.
But let's be real. No system is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
What are the challenges? What do they still need to figure out?
Well, one of the biggest challenges for any decentralized system is scalability.
Right.
If this thing takes off, which, it has the potential, can it handle the volume, the data, the transactions? It's like going from a whisper to a shout heard around the world.
Can their infrastructure, can it actually handle all that? That's a lot of pressure.
It is. It's a huge challenge, and they know that. In the white paper, they talk about how they're building Pyth on this, high-performance blockchain, and it's designed specifically for fast, efficient data delivery. They're also constantly optimizing the network, making sure it can keep up with demand.
So it's like they're building this car while they're driving that down the freeway.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, so what about security? We talked about this earlier, but with so much data, so much valuable information, somebody's going to try to take advantage of it.
Of course, and they know that. Security is absolutely paramount. It's a top priority. They talk about their multi-layered approach. You've got cryptographic safeguards, decentralized governance.
But this is no single point of failure.
Exactly. Plus, they're always doing audits, identifying and addressing any vulnerabilities they can find.
The best security system that money can't buy. Sounds impressive. I'll give them that. But there's always that element of risk. It comes with the territory.
Yep.
New technology, right?
Absolutely. And that's what I find so fascinating about all this. This isn't just some finished product. This technology is still evolving. It really has the potential to, to change everything, to revolutionize finance as we know it.
It's like we're getting this behind-the-scenes look, right, at something
Right.
big. So where do things stand right now with Pyth? Can we actually use it? Is there a Pyth app I can download?
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
Okay, you've totally got me hooked now.
Yeah.
What's so interesting about the where do things stand right now part?
Well, this Pyth network, right, with all this potential, it's not actually a finished product yet.
Hold on. So we've been like knee deep in this white paper,
Yeah.
talking about all this groundbreaking tech,
Yeah.
and it doesn't even exist.
Not quite. This white paper, it's version 2.0, right? This is like a sneak peek. It's their plan.
Ah.
Think of it as like a blueprint for how they're building Pyth, and it's incredibly detailed.
So instead of a grand opening, it's more like they're constructing this skyscraper. And we're like, hey, everyone, come watch us add each floor.
That is a fantastic analogy.
Yeah.
And the really exciting part, they're inviting everyone, developers, users, everyone, to be a part of this process.
So, okay, what's next on the Pyth construction timeline? What's the roadmap look like?
Well, they outline this phased approach in the white paper. First things first, they have to build the foundation.
Makes sense. Get that solid before you, like, start adding the bells and whistles.
Exactly. Build out the core infrastructure. And they're doing that on their dedicated blockchain, PythNet.
Okay, so it's not if Pyth will be a real thing, it's when.
Precisely. And that's what I think makes this whole deep dive so fascinating. We're not just looking at a finished product here, right? We're seeing something new being built, something potentially revolutionary.
This has been pretty incredible. We've gone from trying to figure out what a decentralized oracle even is to talking about skyscrapers and blueprints for, like, the future of finance. And honestly, I feel like we've only scratched the surface here.
That's the beauty of a good deep dive, isn't it? More questions than answers. It leaves you wanting to learn more.
It absolutely does. So for all our listeners out there, anyone else who is now, like me, completely captivated by all this, where do we go? Where can we follow along?
Their website, pyth.network, is a great place to start. All the info you need, documentation, technical details, all the latest updates.
And I bet they have a whole community on social media, right? Like dissecting every single detail of this white paper.
For sure, it's a very active community, and they're very welcoming.
That's awesome. Well, my brain is officially full. This has been an awesome deep dive. I can't wait to see what happens next.
It's not every day you get to see a potentially brand new financial system being built, right?
That's for sure. All right, listeners, that's a wrap on today's deep dive into the Pyth Network. We covered a ton of ground, but I think more importantly, we've uncovered this whole world of possibilities. So if you'll excuse me, I need to go find a quiet place to process all this incredible information. Until next time, stay curious and remember, the future of finance, well, it might just be decentralized.